I am the unfortunate transmigrated office worker in a novel. After helping the insane second male lead ascend the throne, I faked my death and escaped. From the second male lead's peasant sister, I became the vicious supporting female character of a noble family, but the male lead's gaze towards me was far from pure, even going so far as to snatch me away at the wedding. He kept me in the side hall, holding me tightly in his arms. "Sister, you have so many tricks, yet you just don't like me." He looked utterly aggrieved, and I dared not even move, only because my aloof, immortal-like husband was kneeling in the center of the great hall. The person in the Emperor's arms looks familiar. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful stories every day. Now, the story begins. Half a year ago, I successfully completed the mission, helping the mad second male lead, Ji Chen, ascend the throne, just as I was about to retreat after achieving my goal. The system quietly spoke up. "Maybe I should just be the villainess in this world, since you're already familiar with it." I thought about it and found it somewhat reasonable, so I casually accepted it. On a certain night when Ji Chen had yet to take me into the palace to enjoy a life of luxury, I drank poison and died in his arms. "Now that Chen is the emperor, I cannot burden you because of my status." After speaking the final line, my face twisted in pain. Yet I tried my best to force a gentle smile. Dying gracefully is a compulsion I've developed after going through so many conquests, but seeing him holding me, trembling all over, vomiting blood in great gushes, I couldn't help but suspect that I had given the wrong medicine. Until I was reborn in the body of the vicious female supporting character in the same world, gazing at the unfamiliar face in the bronze mirror, I was quite satisfied, beautiful and elegant. Every smile and frown was of the highest quality. Noble young ladies were indeed different. Thinking of Ji Chen's state when he was dying, I asked the system, "Is he okay, physically?" "He's fine, it's just that he seems to have turned dark prematurely." I pouted. Anyway, the mission was complete. His dark turn had nothing to do with me. My next task is to follow the script of the vicious female supporting character, steal the female lead's credit, seduce the aloof Lu Yu, and marry him. Everything was progressing smoothly, but on the day of my wedding with Lu Yu, we encountered a collective disturbance. I was abducted amidst the chaos. When I woke up, my body felt weak and limp. I looked around. The room was exquisitely luxurious, even more so than Xuering's original boudoir. The person behind this must be either wealthy or of high status. Could it be that Lu Yu already knows the truth? Just as I was lost in wild thoughts, the door was pushed open. A face so familiar it couldn't be more familiar suddenly appeared, and my breathing slowed. I didn't even know where to look. "It's Ji Chen. Is he going to kill me?" According to the original plot, I am indeed supposed to die by his hand, but that was supposed to happen a year later. I was frantically calling out to the system in my mind, but it chose this critical moment to crash. Damn, as unreliable as ever. Ji Chen sat on the couch, his deep gaze fixed on me. He didn't speak, and I didn't dare move. "Are you afraid of me?" He finally spoke, and I hurriedly knelt on the couch to pay my respects. "Greetings, Your Majesty. May I ask what you mean by this? Tying a minister's newlywed wife to the dragon bed is not amusing. Did you marry Lu Yu willingly?" His voice was very soft, yet it felt as if he had used all his strength to ask. I blurted out, "Naturally. If I don't marry him, how can the plot progress? If the plot doesn't progress, how can I get the rewards? I want points." Points can be exchanged for health, allowing my physical body in the real world to improve, but the atmosphere around me suddenly turned cold, and I quickly snapped back to reality to explain. "Lord Lu and I grew up together, we share a deep bond, and moreover, our marriage was personally arranged by the Emperor." The more I spoke, the more the atmosphere felt off. I simply shut my mouth. "Childhood sweethearts, deep affection." Ji Chen spat out these words as if they were barbed, each one piercing and uncomfortable. My feelings were complicated. This was a wolf I had raised with my own hands. "What about me?" I don't know if it was an illusion, but I seemed to hear him call out softly in confusion. Frightened, I quickly reached up to touch my face. Thankfully, it was still Xuering's beautiful, flower-like face. "Your Majesty, what do you mean?" I didn't understand. Ji Chen's eyes flickered with pain, and he quickly turned his back to me. "Since you are willing, I shall send you back." He left behind a baffling remark and hurried away with unsteady steps. I was sent back, and Lu Yu was leading a large group of people searching everywhere. The red gown on him made him look even more extraordinary. Upon seeing me, his expression softened, and he quickly stepped forward to pull me into his embrace. "Are you hurt? Are you okay?" As he spoke, he nervously checked me over, and I patted the back of his hand to reassure him. "It's nothing, I just took a fall." When I woke up, I was in that alley over there, casually spinning a lie. Lu Yu paused briefly in his expression, yet didn't press further. The wedding proceeded as usual, grand and glorious. Most of the court officials had arrived, the place bustling with noise and excitement. Lu Yu was considerate and thorough towards me, and every detail in the bridal chamber was thoughtfully arranged. But on our wedding night, just as we were about to enter the bridal chamber, he was called away. "My husband. Your official duties come first." I was gentle and considerate, helping him change into his official robes. He was gone for the entire night. "The second male lead is not normal," the system murmured quietly. I told it about being intercepted halfway and asked if he had discovered something. The system assured me, "Impossible, you've transmigrated into a different body, completely changed in appearance. How could he possibly recognize you?" "That's good." I rolled out of bed, calculating the time. Lu Yu should have already encountered the female lead, Zhong Ruohua, by now. A fleeting glimpse from atop the tall horse brought back a familiar scene to his mind. Then came the uncontrollable act of saving the damsel in distress. I brought her back to my home. I only need to frame Zhong Ruohua a few times, and once the task is completed and the points are in hand, I can return to the real world. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but feel elated. Unconsciously, I found myself in the courtyard. The spring breeze brushing against my face, with all four limbs intact, I danced freely in the wind. In the real world, I am a dancer, passionately in love with dance. The lightness I feel under the spotlight captivates me. But later, my legs were injured. I never believed in metaphysics, but after encountering the system, it felt like I had grabbed onto my last lifeline. "Ying," a surprised exclamation came, and I stumbled. I found Lu Yu looking at me with an awkward expression, and behind him, it was none other than Ji Chen. I quickly knelt on the ground to pay my respects, but Lu Yu had already stepped forward and draped his outer robe over me, although Ji Chen remained silent. His gaze was so intense that it made my scalp tingle. Only after Lu Yu coughed lightly twice did he snap back to reality, smiling faintly as he said, "Where did Madame Lu learn to dance, Your Majesty?" "I have never learned it properly, just moving my limbs randomly," Shuering Ying, being a young lady from a noble family, is skilled in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, but dancing is her weak point. I need to stay true to my character. Lu Yu tightened his grip on my arm and said to Ji Chen, "Your Majesty, please move to the study." After everyone had left, Lu Yu was filled with remorse. "I was discussing matters with Your Majesty last night and didn't return the entire night. I'm truly sorry. Even if it wasn't a summons from the Emperor, other matters would have kept him occupied. The male lead's first time will only be for the female lead." "I understand. It's all right, husband. You've worked hard. I'll go make some soup for you. I wonder if I might have the honor of tasting it." The sudden voice caught both Lu Yu and me off guard. He actually hasn't left yet. Suppressing the urge to roll my eyes, I curtsied and said, "Thank you for your grace, Your Majesty." Only after both of them had left did I couldn't help but confirm with the system again. Did the second male lead really not recognize me? No, right. I let out a soft sigh, entrusted the stewing soup to the maid, and went alone to find Zhong Ruohua. Surprisingly, Lu Yu had arranged for her to stay at an official inn, and hadn't brought her home, but the plot of the vicious female supporting character still had to unfold. When Lu Yu and Ji Chen arrived, I was pretending to have been pushed to the ground by Zhong Ruohua. It was clearly a staged scene, yet they both walked toward me, one on the left, one on the right. They lifted me up directly. Wait, I was completely bewildered, with tear stains on my face that I hadn't even had the chance to use. It was clearly her own fall. I didn't even touch her. Zhong Ruohua was so angry that her eyes turned red stubbornly as she stared at Lu Yu. She had a cool and elegant appearance, but her occasional girlish antics made her look even more charming and pitiable. But Lu Yu didn't even glance at her. Instead, he took hold of my left hand. "Does it hurt?" There was just a slight scratch on it, I forgot to cry and looked at him blankly. On my right, Ji Chen grabbed my hand and suddenly squeezed it hard, making me hiss in pain. Lu Yu thought it was the pain from the scratch and quickly blew on the wound. Without thinking too much, I quickly put my skills to use, my eyes welling up with tears. No, it doesn't hurt. My fall just now couldn't have been more fake. Did the male lead and second male lead, with their almost supernatural intelligence, not see through it? You don't believe her? I looked at Zhong Ruohua, wondering if the plot had progressed too smoothly earlier. Now it's bugging out on me here. Lu Yu, however, pulled me into his embrace. I naturally trust my own wife. Don't worry, Ying, you are the only one in my heart. No, you should have her in your heart. Damn it, furious inside, yet forced to feign coyness on the surface. I was just trying to be considerate earlier. The inn is a mixed bag. So why not have Miss Zhong stay at the residence? Lu Yu's body stiffened, and he glanced at me in surprise. Zhong Ruohua's eyes lit up, and she nervously looked at Lu Yu. She had recognized Lu Yu long ago. But at this moment, she simply didn't know that Lu Yu had fallen for me because of past affections. Once she learned the truth, she would naturally use the female lead's intelligence and talent to expose me. At that time, I only need to cooperate with her, and the entire plot will return to the right track. Lu Yu reluctantly agreed, but arranged her in the farthest courtyard. That won't do. I changed her to a closer place and deliberately mentioned the friendship between Lu Yu and me in front of her. Zhong Ruohua was only stunned for a moment, but quickly came to her senses. Excellent. At the banquet half a month later, she paid him back in his own coin, pretending to be pushed. She dragged me into the water with her. When Lu Yu came down to rescue us, all I had to do was reveal the pattern on my neck. Zhong Ruohua's pattern was innate, while mine would disappear upon contact with water. But, before I could even react, a heavy cloak was draped over me. I looked up gloomily, just in time to meet Ji Chen's profound gaze. His piercing stare sent a shiver down my spine. System, what was the male lead's blackening value again? 100%. The system was also exhausted. I was even more frantic. Are you sure the second male lead turned dark because he was jealous of the relationship between the male lead and the female lead? I instinctively glanced at Lu Yu over there. His gaze paused briefly on Zhong Ruohua's nape before immediately walking towards me. When he saw me lying in Ji Chen's arms, a flash of coldness passed through his eyes, but it was quickly suppressed. Thank you, Your Majesty, for saving my wife. He emphasized the word wife heavily, his face clouded with gloom. Ji Chen's hand did not let go, and in front of everyone, he glanced at Lu Yu. Lord Lu, instead of saving your own wife, you went to rescue an unrelated woman. How truly compassionate. The sarcasm and mockery left everyone holding their breath. I couldn't help but shrink back slightly. Actually, I used a few small points to force Lu Yu's will, making him have no choice but to save Zhong Ruohua. Heaven and earth bear witness. I really just wanted to follow the plot. Madam, your husband knows he was wrong. I misjudged the situation just now. Please punish me. Lu Yu simply knelt on one knee, holding my hand. I tried to discern the look in his eyes. There was only deep affection and self-reproach, not a trace of disgust. My heart grew colder and colder. Zhong Ruohua and I were taken to a side hall to change our clothes. She yanked open my collar, and upon seeing my unblemished skin, she immediately let out a cold laugh. What is fake will always be fake. Aren't you afraid that Lu Yu will find out you're deceiving him like this? Ha, get lost. I immediately slapped her across the face, so hard that my own hand hurt. Zhong Ruohua covered her cheek, her face full of hatred. I will let him know the truth that you're impersonating me. She gritted her teeth and immediately ran out. I clapped my hands. This should work now, right? I hit her hard enough. When Lu Yu discovers the injuries on her face, he'll definitely think I'm despicable. Just as I was feeling proud of myself, I was suddenly grabbed by the wrist. Why are you abandoning me? Ji Chen's eyes were red, with overwhelming emotions surging in their depths. This is bad. My heart felt cold and empty. He suddenly leaned in, pressing his forehead against mine. The scorching heat of his breath made my entire body stiffen. Why is he here? I was certain he had recognized me. My heart was racing with panic. Suddenly, there came a knock at the door. Madam, are you ready? Lu Yu's voice came through, and Ji Chen and I stared at each other wide-eyed. I signaled for him to leave, but he held me even tighter. the obsession in his eyes growing stronger. "Madam, I'm coming in." In a moment of desperation, I summoned immense strength and shoved Ji Chen into the nearby wardrobe. I shot him a fierce glare. "Behave yourself." He looked confused, but suddenly lifted his lips, smiling foolishly yet bewitchingly. Damn it, I hurriedly closed the cabinet door. Shutting out such a refined scoundrel. After straightening my clothes and stepping out, I happened to see Lu Yu pushing the door open and entering. "Are you hurt?" His expression was gentle, his gaze fixed on me as he carefully looked me over. I smiled and shook my head. "No, it was Miss Zhong. She pushed me down." As I spoke, I let out another sigh. "I know my husband doesn't believe me, but I believe you." Before I could finish speaking, Lu Yu firmly replied. I stood there, stunned. Wait. A few days ago, my acting was so fake, yet they didn't notice. Today, from such a distance, and with Zhong Ruohua being so clever, my acting was truly convincing, yet he actually saw through it. I suspect Lu Yu's eyes are biased. Yingying, I don't know what came over me today. My body moved on its own to save her, but give me time, I will definitely uncover the truth. Lu Yu's mind is truly sharp. I stared at him in a daze. Is it possible that you actually liked her all along? Actions done subconsciously represent the deepest thoughts. Lu Yu immediately panicked. He grabbed my shoulders, completely at a loss. "No, it's only you that I like. I was wrong. I'll have someone send her away right now." When someone as aloof and peerless as him descends into the mortal realm, the redness at the corner of his eyes becomes a bewitching sorcery. It makes one's thoughts drift uncontrollably into fantasies. My mind is a bit unsettled. Thud. The chaotic thoughts in his mind were abruptly startled away by the noise from the wardrobe, leaving only panic behind. Ji Chen, that little wolf cub. Lu Yu cast a suspicious glance over. I feigned dizziness. Leaning against him, Lu Yu hurriedly caught me. "Are you feeling unwell?" "Yes. Perhaps I caught a chill earlier. Can we go back?" "Okay." He no longer paid attention to the situation in the cabinet and, half supporting me, walked out. That day, upon returning to the Prime Minister's residence, Lu Yu ordered the steward to send Zhong Ruohua away. Zhong Ruohua knelt before him, her face swollen and red. "I beg your excellency to uphold justice for this humble woman." Her eyes brimmed with tears, glistening with a pitiful charm that would soften even my heart. "You deliberately framed my wife. And the fact that I haven't punished you is only because of her kindness. What more do you want? Woman, it's hard to imagine what a cold and aloof person looks like when they're enraged." I watched with a pounding heart. Isn't Lu Yu the male lead? Shouldn't the female lead naturally be attracted to him? I asked the system. The system was deeply annoyed. Is it possible that the male lead has broken free from the original plot and gained self-awareness? Then, what should we do? I'm counting on this last mission to succeed so I can return to the modern era. My total points are just enough to exchange for my healthy body. I seriously suspect this is some capitalist scheme. Like those endless Pinduoduo group buys, they won't let me succeed at the final step. The system said to wait, as it needs to file a report to the higher-ups. From then on, no matter how I called, it never appeared again. I suspect it ran away. Because of this, my mood soured, and I felt like killing someone. She was never the one who saved you. I am. The birthmark on her body is fake. Zhong Ruohua's vicious voice snapped me back to reality. I instinctively looked at Lu Yu. He was only stunned for a moment before his eyes darkened. She's right. I did indeed steal her identity. I simply stopped hiding it. The best outcome would be for Lu Yu to grow to despise me. Zhong Ruohua would take the opportunity to deepen her relationship with him. Although it didn't follow the original plot exactly, it was still largely consistent. It's not like there haven't been precedents like this before. At worst, I'll just earn fewer points and travel through the book again. But, so what? Hearing his indifferent reply, my head nearly exploded. Yingying just loves me too much. Not only Zhong Ruohua, but even I was stunned. You don't really mind that I lied to you. I've actually known all along. My vision went black, and I wished I could just die right then and there. Before I could even come up with a plan to deal with Lu Yu, I was already kidnapped by Ji Chen's men. In the side hall, I lay limp on the large imperial bed, completely drained of strength. Next door, Lu Yu was begging Ji Chen to dispatch the imperial guards to search for me. I frantically called out to the system, but it never returned. The imperial guard's token, it's yours. Ji Chen was very generous. Lu Yu expressed his gratitude. Are you sure she loves you? Is it possible that she has some ulterior motive for being by your side? Ji Yuchen's lazy voice came through. Lu Yu's tone was displeased. I don't understand what your majesty means. But Ying Ying was willing to lie and pretend to be my savior just to marry me. Her affection and favoritism were blatantly obvious. Surely, your majesty must have heard of it. Just hearing these words was enough to spark a fire. Ji Yuchen's tone also grew heavier. But if she truly loved him that much, how could she disappear without a trace? Moreover, I heard that on the day of your wedding, a man took her away. Lu Yu remained silent for a long time. I had no idea what was going through his mind. The events of our wedding day were indeed strange, but he never looked into it deeply. Such a wise man, blinding his own eyes. I was greatly shocked. Your majesty worries too much. I trust my wife. Not long after, Ji Yuchen arrived at the side hall with a grim expression. Let me go back. Before he could speak, I took the lead. Ji Yuchen paused for a moment, then chuckled softly. Sister, are you not pretending with me anymore? Since he had already guessed my identity, there was no need for me to pretend anymore. He was before me in a few steps, and the scent from him reached my nose. It was the common fragrance of soap berries, clearly mismatched with the emperor's status, yet it felt very familiar to me. I've been searching for you for a long time. He spoke in a hoarse, muffled voice. I couldn't help but lower the hand I was about to push away. When I first transmigrated into the book, Ji Yuchen was only 10 years old. I saved him from a group of little beggars. Back then, he was thin and wary, with a pair of distinct black and white eyes gleaming with fierce killing intent. In his arms was half a steamed bun that had long since turned black beyond recognition. It's a pity that his wet nurse had already passed away, even if we take it back. It's already too late. I gave him some silver coins, bury her properly, and come find me in 3 days. I took him away from that city, wandering through different towns in the kingdom of An, telling him stories of military strategy and tales of emperors. He is a descendant of the royal family, just temporarily living among the common people. My mission is to lead him to the pinnacle. After more than 10 years of mutual support, Ji Yuchen achieved it. I witnessed it with my own eyes. It's impossible to say there are no feelings. Are you abandoning me, sister? He seemed to be crying. As I felt dampness on my neck, I patted his back and whispered softly, you are already very capable now, Chen, and don't need your elder sister anymore. How do you know I don't need you anymore? I clearly do need you. He spoke stubbornly, leaving no room for argument. My body stiffened. If I had known it would come to this, I shouldn't have chosen convenience and stayed here back then. People outside the palace were searching for me frantically, turning the world upside down. Ji Yuchen noticed the blisters on Lu Yu's lips, feeling a mix of schadenfreude one moment and sinking into gloom the next. I want to kill him. One day, he suddenly said. I looked over in surprise and saw him staring at the memorial in his hand, thinking it was some corrupt official who had angered him. But then Ji Yuchen suddenly looked up. I want to kill Lu Yu. I jolted awake. The chestnut cake stuck in my throat, and I burst into a fit of coughing. Ji Yuchen patted my back to help, his face dark with displeasure as he muttered awkwardly, do you care about him that much? I hastily took a sip of tea, swallowing the words that had reached the tip of my tongue. There's still no word from the system, and I don't know how to proceed, but Lu Yu absolutely cannot be killed. If he dies, this world will cease to exist, and by then, Ji Yuchen will also disappear. You can't kill him. Having made up my mind, I replied with unwavering determination. You. His eyes instantly reddened, his brows furrowed tightly, his expression filled with immense pain. He looked so wounded, as if he might scatter away with the wind. This child. Why is she on the verge of tears at the drop of a hat? Lord Lu, you cannot go in, my lord. The voices from outside broke the silence between Ji Yuchen and me. Seeing the wild light gleaming in Ji Yuchen's eyes, a chill ran down my spine. Almost instinctively, I rolled off the couch and scrambled to hide behind the dragon throne, but a powerful force grabbed me by the back of my neck, and immediately Ji Yuchen's back pressed against me. I was instantly unable to move, all because Lu Yu's voice had already reached us. I pay my respects to your majesty. I even slowed my breathing. Ji Yuchen, however, replied nonchalantly, Lord Lu, barging into my bedchamber, do you intend to usurp my throne as well? Though the words were casual. They carried a hidden threat. Lu Yu neither humbled himself nor showed arrogance. Your Majesty, forgive my offense. I had a dream in which my wife pleaded for my help, worried for her safety. I acted rashly. What does that have to do with me? Jiyu Chen played with my hair, then nibbled on my ear. Sister, please don't move recklessly. I was so startled that I lost all thoughts of trying to escape. The place where the madam resides is extremely similar to the emperor's side palace. Such treasonous words made my heart tremble with fear. Jiyu Chen let out a scoff. He leaned in even closer to me. Sister, are you trembling? I forced a bitter smile. Madness. This world has gone mad. My mission is doomed to fail. Your Majesty, the woman in your embrace, might this humble servant. Lu Yu's voice gradually drew closer. Jiyu Chen suddenly caught my chin, his lips meeting mine in a domineering kiss, yet he used his sleeve to shield me completely from view. Only when his eyes were tinged with desire did he casually pull back a little. Could it be that Lord Lu, under the pretense of searching for his wife, actually intends to lay a hand on my beloved consort? The Emperor's harem has never had a woman, now it does. His obsessive eyes were fixed intently on me, as if saying, just try to speak. In fact, I suspect he was quite looking forward to Lu Yu discovering us. I was still too careless. What on earth have I raised? Someone escort Lord Lu back. Jiyu Chen seemed quite pleased to see the shock in my eyes. After all, this is his territory. No matter how unwilling Lu Yu is, he can only obediently leave. What exactly do you want to do? Don't forget your status. I heard my voice grow hoarse. Jiyu Chen caressed my face obsessively, madness burning in his eyes. Identity. I am the emperor. How could I not even get a woman? The last emperor was trampled into the mud, dying with everlasting regret. He was taken aback for a moment, then laughed. But you wouldn't do that to me. That doesn't mean others won't do the same to you. Are you worried about me? A spark of joy flashed in his eyes. Was he actually pleased? What kind of logic is this? I turned my face away, not wanting to look at him. Jiyu Chen rubbed his face against mine. I don't care who you are or what your purpose is by Lu Yu's side, but in the end, you can only be mine. My heart trembled, and I closed my eyes. Not wanting to speak, Jiyu Chen kissed me on the cheek. On the lantern festival, I'll take you to see the lanterns. I still didn't say anything. I had never seen lanterns before. Jiyu Chen once made one for me, shaped like a lotus flower, but it was also stained with blood. That year on the Chishi festival, we had planned to watch the lanterns together, but we were discovered by enemies on the way. With a cold expression, Jiyu Chen slaughtered every last one of them. The heavy scent of blood made it almost impossible for me to breathe. Yes, I almost forgot this is an emperor who emerged from a pile of corpses. He just hid it very well in front of me. On the day we left the palace, he changed into casual attire, and the image of an elegant young master instantly came to life. His gaze lingered on me for a long time, a smile curling at the corner of his lips. It looks nice. He handed me a lotus lantern, a newly made one. The lamp was painted with a mandarin duck pattern, which seemed rather out of place. I sighed. I am already a married woman. Jiyu Chen's smile froze instantly, but he soon chuckled indifferently. Don't joke around. You are a Yuan from Fenghua village, not some Shueringying. You and I grew up together since childhood. I couldn't be bothered with him and turned to leave. It would be good to get some fresh air outside the palace. Jiyu Chen followed closely step by step until we arrived on the second floor of a restaurant. The interior decoration felt somewhat familiar. Sister, when I start earning money in the future, I'll bring you here to eat delicious food. I never expected Jiyu Chen to replicate the town's restaurant in the capital. Compared to the wealth and luxury of the capital, it suddenly seemed shabby. Downstairs, the crowd flowed endlessly, with all kinds of lanterns appearing one after another. I had never seen such a magnificent scene before and was completely mesmerized by it, until a familiar figure appeared in my line of sight. Lu Yu and Zhong Ruohua stood out in the crowd, one in front of the other, as if separated by an invisible barrier from those around them. I wasn't sad, just relieved. A moment ago, I had been moved by his deep affection and burdened by guilt over my own deception. Now, all of it had vanished without a trace. Well, I'll have to go back sooner or later anyway. Lord Lu doesn't seem to be in such a hurry, Jiyu Chen said casually. Just then, Lu Yu abruptly looked over, and the man beside me suddenly reached out, grabbing my shoulder and pulling me into his embrace. Everything was so perfectly timed, as if it had been calculated. I saw the gradually crimsoning eyes of Lu Yu. I also felt the arrogance and madness of Ji Chen beside me. The world had finally gone mad beyond my comprehension, and at this moment, the system suddenly came back to life. The sharp scream made me involuntarily furrow my brows. How could he do this? I don't know whether the system was referring to Lu Yu or Ji Chen when it said he. Anyway, now the male lead doesn't act like the male lead, and the second male lead doesn't act like the second male lead. Instead, I, the villainess, have become like the female lead. Have you thought of a solution yet? I was growing a bit impatient. According to the original plot, the male lead Lu Yu should have already reunited with Zhong Ruohua by now. The second male lead, Ji Chen, also searched everywhere for Zhong Ruohua because he fell in love with her at first sight. After I cause trouble a few more times and Ji Chen stirs up more drama, the male and female leads grow closer amidst their conflicts. Once the plot concludes, the ending is perfect. I retire after achieving my goal, collect my points, and return to enjoy the stage. But now, everything is ruined. Die once more. The system hesitated and said, and after dying, I'll have someone else take over Xueringying's case. As for you, go to another transmigration project. Don't worry, I'll choose carefully this time and won't let you down. Upon careful consideration, this seemed to be the only way. On our way back to the palace with Ji Chen, the chief eunuch came running over in a hurry. Your Majesty, Minister Lu is kneeling in front of the Chongming Hall. Ji Chen's entire aura turned cold, and the arm holding me stiffened completely. He then let out a scornful laugh. Then let him kneel. Forget it, I'll go check on him, I whispered softly. Ji Chen's expression darkened, a turbulent undercurrent swirling in his eyes. Do you still want to go back to him? Chen, you are the emperor, I sighed. Now is the time to employ talents, yet every noble family harbors their own ulterior motives. Lu Yu is a blade in Ji Chen's hand. It is precisely for this reason that in the book, Ji Chen makes a choice between power and love, letting Lu Yu go and staying with Zhong Ruohua. Since I am leaving, I might as well do one last thing for Ji Chen. Yingying. Lu Yu didn't know how long he had been kneeling, but when he saw me, a light instantly sparked in his eyes. I stopped in front of him and reached out my hand. The man, bright as the moon, suddenly broke into a smile. His expression melting with the tenderness of thawing ice, he tightly grasped my hand, as if afraid I would disappear again. I've come to take you home, I chuckled softly, not telling him that my home wasn't here. As our hands clasped together, I caught a glimpse of Ji Chen in the distance. His eyes red-rimmed like a lone wolf, yet he still struggled to restrain his emotions, not taking a single step forward. Standing with Lu Yu on the high steps, I whispered softly, give me 3 days. I'll be back in 3 days. He froze, looking at me in surprise. Then he glanced behind me. Ji Chen refused to leave, stubborn as ever. The two stood in a silent standoff, neither willing to yield an inch. Fine, I know Yingying wouldn't like the imperial palace. The emperor will inevitably have 3 palaces and 6 courtyards in the future. But I will have only you. Lu Yu agreed verbally, yet he was terrified that I might not return, his voice trembling as he explained the stakes. I smiled as I looked at him, a man with such striking beauty. Truly, it's hard to let go. You've known all along that I was taken by his people, haven't you? In the capital, the only person capable of causing such a disturbance and leaving even Lu Yu unable to trace it afterward is Ji Chen. How could someone as clever as Lu Yu not know? But you came back too. What if I hadn't returned? He was momentarily dazed, then whispered softly, then I would have gone to find you, to ask you. If you truly meant it, what could I have done? He spoke with grievance and humility. I suppressed the flutter in my heart and lowered my voice. Lu Yu, actually, I am not Xueringying. His pupils suddenly dilated. He quickly calmed down again. He soon guessed that there had been some entanglement between me and Ji Chen. But the person I know is you. I don't care about the past, but this body is hers, and I'll have to return it to her soon. Xueringying is already dead. I don't know who the later strategist is. Let's just consider her the real Xueringying. What about you? Lu Yu became anxious. He tightly gripped my wrist, his breathing becoming rapid. I blinked my eyes, trying to keep my tone as light as possible. I'm going to die. I crashed right into his chest. I heard a loud bang behind me, and without turning around, I knew it was Ji Yu Chen causing the commotion. But I didn't look back, I just patted Lu Yu's back, after taking over Xuering Ying's body. I've done quite a few things, having transmigrated into books so many times, playing the role of a simp comes naturally to me. I lavishly adored Lu Yu, going to great lengths to appear around him. He went from being surprised, reserved, grateful, and rejecting, to eventually accepting. Even with a touch of indulgence, every step of the emotion was genuinely experienced. The moment the cold, clear ice and snow began to melt for me, I couldn't remain indifferent. Closing my eyes and then opening them again, I insisted on pushing him away, ignoring the panic and confusion in his eyes, disregarding his vulnerability and pleas. Did I do something wrong? He spoke with tears in his eyes. And I could only smile helplessly. Ji Yu Chen is right. My approach to you from the very beginning was a calculated move. My mission cannot be completed, so I must leave, find another place, and another person. Don't change, he hurriedly spoke. He seemed to have guessed something with his intelligence, but what he had guessed far exceeded his understanding, so he paused for a long time before slowly saying, Is it that you want me to marry Zhong Ruohua and grow to dislike you? That is what you desire? My heart trembled at his insight. Lu Yu let out a bitter laugh. I've actually noticed that every time I encounter her, some uncontrollable emotions tend to surface. To avoid being affected, I deliberately arranged for her to be far away, yet I still swam toward her when you both fell into the water. It seems my body has a will of its own. Lu Yu looked utterly defeated. I didn't dare to look at him. He only said I understand before turning to leave. The lamplight from the glass lantern stretched his shadow, making it appear lonely and desolate. Ji Yu Chen appeared behind me at that moment. Let's go. He took my hand and led me into the Mingchong Hall. His palm was dry and warm, but there was a long scar running from his index finger all the way to his wrist. It was left from the year he blocked the curved blade of an enemy for me. Ji Yu Chen didn't ask what I had discussed with Lu Yu, but he approved Lu Yu's leave, apart from attending court sessions. He would stay by my side at all other times. Time seemed to stretch, as if we had returned to how we used to be, until the third day's deadline arrived. Treat Lord Lu well. Ji Yu Chen paused, narrowed his eyes, and looked over without saying a word. He is your capable assistant. Do not do anything irrational. For example, recklessly trying to seize the wife of a subordinate. Ji Yu Chen's gaze darkened as he quickly moved to my side, wrapping his arm around my waist and pulling me up. Our breaths intertwined, and in an instant, I found myself lost in his deep, abyss-like eyes. You did all of this for me, didn't you? I froze, then slowly shook my head. I did it for myself. Impossible. Ji Yu Chen stubbornly denied it. I don't believe it. Back then, you picked me up and took me to travel across mountains and rivers, made plans for me, strategized for me, and even risked your life to save me. I don't believe there's no place for me in your heart. He ran his hand over my back, which was now smooth and pale. When I was still a farm girl, I climbed the mountain to gather herbs to heal his wounds, fell off a cliff, and ended up with scars all over my back. Why, you have so many tricks. Why don't you like me? Are you going to abandon me again? What did you say to Lu Yu? What do you want Lu Yu to do? Tell me, and I'll do it. Ji Yu Chen was anxious and irritable, like a stubborn child. Don't leave, okay? He held me tightly. My eyes were burning with unshed tears. These days, I sleep on the couch, and he stands guard outside. Whenever I turn over or make the slightest noise, he immediately rushes over, afraid that I might disappear. He anxiously checks my expression. The palace steward said that half a year ago, the emperor fell seriously ill and almost didn't make it. The emperor had an elder sister, who has passed away. In all these years that this old servant has been by the emperor's side, apart from his elder sister, I have never heard of him caring so deeply for anyone else. Young lady, please don't be stubborn with him anymore. I beg of you. He trembled as he knelt on the ground. The words Uncle Zhong were stuck in my throat, unable to come out. Uncle Zhong was one of the few elders who had been by Ji Yu Chen and my side for a long time. After Ji Yu Chen became emperor, Uncle Zhong voluntarily entered the palace to serve as the chief steward. He didn't know that I was a Yuan. Are you ready? The system's voice came through us.
It was a forbidden topic that no one else dared to mention, yet on this day, Ji Yu Chen openly and grandly took me there. The palace was exquisitely luxurious. With a large lotus pond right at the entrance, where spring lotus leaves gently swayed, the sound of gurgling water was pleasant to the ear. Uncle Jong stood at the door, his expression complex, seeming both happy and unwilling. "Very well," he said with a sense of loss. It fell on my ears. I chuckled softly. I knew this place was originally built for our Yuan. It's just that before he had the chance to bring me in, I died in Ji Chen's arms. Now, in Uncle Jong's eyes, it was Ji Chen bringing outsiders to occupy a Yuan's place. Good, and not good. I settled down here from then on. Ji Chen came every day. Everyone in the court knows that there is a beautiful lady hidden in the harem, whom the emperor treasures and dotes on. Half a month later, Lu Yu and Zhong Ruohua are to be married. Ji Chen waved his hand generously, bestowing upon them endless rewards. Then he turned around and came to me with a pitiful look. "Could a Yuan like me a little more?" He leaned against the doorframe, the corners of his eyes red, all his sharp edges softened, putting on a fragile and vulnerable appearance. Ever since I divorced, he refused to call me sister anymore. He only calls me a Yuan, stubbornly so. "When did you start having such feelings for me?" He paused, his face turning red. He quickly straightened up, looking somewhat embarrassed. "Ever since the day of my sister's coming-of-age ceremony." You were only 13 at the time." I'm a bit speechless, yet he spoke with righteous confidence. It's quite common for ordinary families to arrange marriages as early as 12 years old, let alone royal males who start considering matches before they even turn 10. Even in the imperial harem, there are women who were sent in as young as 10 or so. Age isn't really an issue, but for me, it was just too absurd. In an instant, Ji Chen had already approached. Besides, a Yuan isn't completely indifferent to me, right? I froze for a moment, my hand trembling slightly, causing some tea to spill. I pretended to be normal and took a sip. If you ask if I had such thoughts, I did, but they were suppressed as soon as they surfaced. Returning to the modern world to live a normal life is what I truly desire. No one can stop me. Lu Yu is, and so is he. Then, when did you recognize me? Not long after the imperial edict of marriage was issued, I began to notice something unusual. That time I went to Lord Lu's residence and saw you dancing, it confirmed my suspicions even more. His gaze was too direct, making one's heart burn with heat. The system's reminder for my decision only made me more flustered. After a long while, I finally whispered, "But, I have to go." I knew his sincerity at this moment, but I didn't want to gamble on the passage of time. Unlike Lu Yu, when facing Ji Chen, I am never that straightforward. Over these more than 10 years of interaction, I have given my sincere heart. No one can remain unmoved in the face of such genuine sincerity. Ji Chen stared at me for a long time, so long that my neck began to ache. He suddenly let out a scornful laugh. I knew it, he muttered to himself, his eyes unusually moist, stepping back step by step, yet gritting his teeth in anger. "I knew it, I'm not that important to you, and you're leaving me again, you liar." He spat out the words viciously, but had only taken 2 steps before he suddenly halted. "If you dare leave, I'll kill Lu Yu, kill Zhong Ruohua, kill everyone in this world I can lay my hands on. You're insane. I've been crazy for a long time." Ji Chen confined me to the house. All sharp objects in the room were taken away, and every day he would eat a bite of my food, then I would eat a bite. He left me no opportunity at all, but he didn't know that if I wanted to die, I could do it quietly without any means at all. Lu Yu has been imprisoned. The system was somewhat helpless. I looked up and saw Ji Chen approaching slowly from a distance. "Why, you can always find something to nitpick. He thinks you still have feelings for Lu Yu." I let out a bitter laugh and shook my head. "No, he's threatening me." Ji Chen is incredibly sharp. He knows I have no choice but to get close to Lu Yu, and he understands even more clearly that I can't let Lu Yu die. The system's strategies think they're undetectable, but actions always leave traces. He caught on. Even without knowing the system's existence, they could still analyze what I cared about. But he didn't know that even if this world were to be destroyed, it would mean nothing to me. It's just that I couldn't bear to see him suffer so much hardship, only to have all his efforts come to nothing in the end. What I couldn't bear to part with was still him after all. "Are you hungry?" Ji Chen sat down by himself, and immediately someone brought him food. "I was delayed by some matters today, but it won't happen again in the future." He served me the soup, took a small sip himself, and then handed it to me. I sighed. His expression shifted slightly. He suddenly looked over, then immediately lowered his head. "The peach blossoms in the east of the city have bloomed. Once the weather clears in a few days, I'll take you to see them. I have reopened the Zhong family's case. When the time comes, I will clear Zhong Ruohua's name." There have been some idle rumors going around lately. If you hear anything, don't take it to heart. Ji Chen said a lot, but eventually fell silent. He looked over blankly, his eyes actually carrying a hint of pleading. I'm not leaving, I said softly. He froze for a moment, then his pupils suddenly trembled violently. Really? Yeah, really, I nodded, smiling as I reached out my hand to him. Bang! I stood up too quickly, knocking the bowls and chopsticks off the table and scattering them across the floor, but he walked straight toward me and suddenly pulled me into his arms. Are you really not leaving? He asked in disbelief. Yes, I'm really not leaving. For now, I won't go back. The system detected that both the second male lead and the male lead were on the verge of emotional collapse, worried that my departure would cause a breakdown, so I applied to my superiors to extend my mission time. Until this world stabilizes, at that time, my points will be replenished, allowing me to return to real life healthy and sound. I will stay here with him until he no longer needs me as much, but he and I will not have children, because I need to be prepared to leave at any time. Ji Chen gave me a new identity. He stubbornly made me his empress. My new name is Shui Yuan. In the 3rd year of their marriage, Lu Yu and Zhong Ruohua divorced. I met Zhong Ruohua. He gave me everything, except love. I'm tired. I froze, not knowing what to say. Actually, I found out half a year ago, after the plot of the book concluded, the system informed me that everyone would no longer be bound by their roles. They tested Lu Yu and found that he still hadn't fallen in love with Zhong Ruohua. However, he managed to deceive everyone. The clever male lead followed the script of his life, believing it would make me stay, but I have my own life to live. It is not here. The end.